And we're live under the Friday night lights. It's getting hot in here. What's up, everybody? I am the hostess with the mostest, the High Priestess Phoenix. I am your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, evangelist, North American Sybil. I am your messenger of God. Should I be like alien transmitter too? Do I have to add that to my resume? Son of a monkey, does it get any weirder? Your alien transmitter. Come on, God, you're really fucking with me right now. I am God's first child. I am the Lilith reincarnated. It is Friday, then Saturday, Sunday. I'm about to teach you some shadow work, but God's already making jokes and acting stupid. In essence, welcome. There's like 1,000 of you new people here, and I know who brought you. It was the aliens. Aliens. I'm just joking. Apologies. I have no respect for any kind of life beings. I'm Lilith, bro. I'm from biblical times. I am Genesis 1. God created man and woman of the dust. I just didn't want that man, so he had to create her a new woman, and I was the, the angry First Wives Club kind of chick. I'm not really. They still exist. Anyways, I know what brought you was the alien. So, in essence, now I have to do alien transmissions for you guys, and that's okay, I suppose. But I grew up in an era where we kind of used to pick on the Star Wars guys, and the verbiage in that book alone makes me laugh and feel like a complete moron. But as I'm talking about physics and quantum realms, I guess it's just, part of the show, right? I mean, if I'm in their culture, we should talk about their culture, right? Some bullshit. We're really supposed to be talking about how to fix you, but I know what brought you here, and you're really excited about aliens, so we can talk about... You want to go to outer space? I'll take you there. Alright, not to be a condescending bitch, it's not my favorite part of the job. It really just isn't. What's your favorite part? I don't know. Living, I guess. Existing. When I'm not being part of the job. Just kidding. Alright, let's get started. So, in order to keep up with me, you would have had to catch my last live videos. I just posted a cool ass posted a cool ass short about fucking Kobe and his psychotic mentality that he has placed upon me, that I'm going to bestow upon you. The Mamba Mentality. I think he just coined it, and I didn't even know he made the body armor drink. There's so much I don't know about that man. I know everything about his spirit because it's all breathing on me all the time. As far as the man and what he did, you probably know more of what he did. I'll tell you what he does. He teaches you to freaking be better. That's what he does. I don't care what he did. That's what he does. And as I always said, he mastered himself, and that was it. He taught others to master themselves, and that's the way of us ascending masters. Fucking kids, am an ascending master, just not in this lifetime. I will ascend. After this, they'll be known as ascending master Lilith. Dun, dun, dun. Lilith was a jerk off. Nobody thought she was going to make it back to the light the way she was being. What are you talking about, bro? I can do this. With the right mentality. Anyways, going back to it. He said it was the Mamba mentality. I'm the serpent from all time. So I feel like, we're aligned. Along with him, you're going to hear a bunch of freaking Pac, because he's always calling us all types of bitches. He thinks everything's a fucking joke all the time. DMX would technically bark or just be on that ass. And I just want to point that out. Russ, DMX don't like you either. He don't like you either, bro. I don't know if we've ever talked about that. Oh, and then there's Russ, my twin flame. You'll always hear about him on a Friday. God, he's annoying. I saw Wolfman today, and the level of disgust you both give off is equal. Equal to. I equally disgust both of you. Stick around, you'll hear about all of the fucking twin flames, these flamers. Alright, so let me start with the Pleiadians. Let's start with the aliens, because that's what you guys came for. I cannot believe this. I do. It wasn't something I did, bro. And I'm going to be fully honest and transparent. My skin, my flesh, fears this whole thing. My flesh is never... Okay. I feared the Blair Witch, like, my whole life. For real, I was at the perfect age, dude. I was ripe enough. When they gave me that movie, bro, from that day on, I was fucking sure There was scary shit in the woods. I didn't go camping until I was in my 30s or 40s. I live in Colorado. It was kind of obscene. I was terrified of open spaces. The ghettos? Nah, bro. In the ghetto. I grew up in Colorado, and then high school year, 99, Columbine, them? Yeah, I was part of that too. No, I wasn't. I moved to San Diego and became a teen mother to a drug lord. So I got, that street thug life in me. But in the essence, yeah, I used to only be afraid of my father, the Blair Witch, and that's about it. Now, when we're talking about aliens, these motherfuckers, bro, they have ability to fuck with you. And, yeah, I don't know, bro. They're real beings. There's a fleshly fear of them. Why? Because, bro, I'm telling you, there's something in my back. I was there consciously when it happened, but I'm telling you, there's a foreign connection in my back that they placed in there where they could just juice me up with whatever kind of information they want. That type of shit kind of scares you. It's like, granted, I'm chosen. I was one of the chosen to be part of this, but when you realize that they have that much access to the human body, it's a little scary. I come from the spiritual world where we don't get to really do that. We don't touch God's anointed. Who the fuck gave you permission to be drilling holes in my back? It was God Almighty. And Kobe was there. What the fuck are y'all doing? Anyway, so I have a fearful respect for the beings outside of our planet and whatever roles they play and, whatever permissions they have. God oversees everything. But we've known these motherfuckers been abducting motherfuckers forever. I didn't experience it as a full body liftoff, but I had the astral memories of what they did to my body, motherfuckers. And that's why I started this whole thing. I was like, if you know anybody that's been abducted, send them my way. In the essence, that's what's brought this. I found that video, and then all of you came this way. I wouldn't be praying for that. Now, I'm going to teach you about this connection, though, that, I never really read about. Got this book. Got a lot of books to help us know who's talking to us and what. So I'm going to start on Introduction, Section 2. No, Introduction to Section 2. This is a lady called Amora Kuan Yin, synchronistically, because I was Kuan Yin. It's a very interesting thing. Now, this is her writing her book. This is her speaking from hers, and I'm going to speak on behalf of the bullshits. I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity to introduce you to the Pleiadian emissaries of light as healers and spiritual guides for individuals as well as the planet. That's what happened. As I started ascending through the levels of light, how did I do that? All I was doing was what Carl Jung described in psychology, is going deeper and deeper into my mind and my emotions. As we go deeper into it, we discover into the darkness, we become part of the light. Now, the Pleiadian emissaries of light are obviously, they're like the whole, and this is where that Star Wars talk comes in and it gets annoying. They're the highest level of the light forces out there. They oversee all the other beings that are not of this planet, as well as what's going on this planet, right? And we'll explain that in just a minute. So this is how I tapped into them. I only speak with the highest levels of light. No offense, but your grandma has no access to me. The spiritual world doesn't. Those that are brought to me, you're brought to an actual Holy Spirit, reincarnated spirit, a prophetess. I am the female witness from Revelations chapter 11 through 13. I shall die and be reborn and all that fucking wonderful bullshit. You have to have a special access to me, right? So in essence, that's how I ended up with these beings. I don't talk to all aliens. I talk to their masters. I don't talk to all beings. Let me talk to your master. I don't talk to Jesus to go to God. None of them are in my way. They're my brothers in the tree of life. I am with God. You'll hear me bitch at him all the way, and then you'll hear me talk with them as well. Okay? Okay. So they are the Pleiadian emissaries of lights. Okay? The purpose of this section of the book is to teach you how to invoke the Pleiadian emissaries of light and to do any energy work on you personally. Okay? There's people that want to know how to talk to aliens. I'm teaching you. This is up to you. I teach all of you how to be with the spirits. You want to be with real life beings. All right, cool. I'm going to tell you how to do it. God be with you. I am the bitch that gives you the apple of knowledge and wisdom. I have it all hidden in me. Please jump in the chat and ask any questions. I'm full of this shit. All right, along with the Christ, and the other ascending masters, guides, and angels, they can facilitate your evolution and spiritual healing in very specific ways, as we'll explain throughout this workbook. I was working with deities, ascending masters, when I got, beamed up. And that's because, you know what I mean? They told them that, I was ready to be beamed up. Beam me up, Scotty. I'm serious. So in essence, it's like, how did this happen? I was just doing it for myself. And I myself am an ascending master. I have my guides, my angels. All of them brought me to these motherfuckers. Yep. All right. The Pleiadian field of expertise can prepare you for a full body enlightenment and ascension. My own past few years of consciously working with the Pleiadians has been a gift, to say the least. Their devotion to me as a human being has been and is ever present. Their integrity has been impeccable, and the energy work itself has ranged from extremely subtle to miraculous and obvious results. From my personal experience with the healing and spiritual practice, I would like to give you a few general pointers. Although I will mention this again, I would like to recommend that when working with any non-physical beings, it is always good to invoke only those who are of the light and serving the divine plan. Why? You're not the goddess of the dark like I am. You're not protected. The dark has a divine plan too. You're just not aware of the plan. And I plan to tell you how the dark works, but not right now. If an okay, let's see. What this implies is that the beings themselves must be at a certain level of consciousness and evolution in order to provide you with genuine assistance. All right, let's be full transparent. Pac did not ascend to the light. My spirit guides, nah, bro. They had some work to do. They created some karma and shit. The deal is, all right, you guide me from that side. I'll take on your karma. I will learn your lessons in my life because I'm here to learn all the fucking lessons. I'll sign off on you with God. I know a guy. So that you don't have to take life. You just sit on the other side. I will live out your life. You will learn through my lessons. Pac can only go so far. When I got on the other side of the gate into heaven, I cried so hard. He's not over here. He can't make it in. In essence, most beings can't until Christ opens the doors. But he couldn't have been here with me because he didn't consciously evolve. His conscious didn't evolve here. How does that happen? You have to have experience. To ascend, you have to experience. You have to have gone through all the experiences to get back to the light. So I teach you how to, take the experiences you've had and use the wisdom of that to get you back to the light. But that's it. So a lot of them, it's together we rise. So all of my twin flames, they are fallen. So I'm here to help them get out, rise back to the light. With their help, when they awake, they will spread the good word, and everyone will rise. Together we rise. But realistically, nah, it was just me. The whole plan was to get me there so that I could show everyone else how to get out. So just saying that, it's like they must be at a certain level of consciousness. I left him. When I left the spirit world, I left Pac. I left a lot of them. They're in the spirit realm. They didn't consciously, they don't live in the light yet. They haven't met Christ. Really? Yeah. They're in a different type of realm. In the sense of, no, they can, it's not like that, but it is. In the sense of, they didn't fully inherit their Christed self. That's the word we're looking for. Alright, what this implies is that the beings themselves must be at a certain level of consciousness and evolution in order to provide with genuine assistance. If an etherical being simply comes without your conscious invitation, then ask the question 3 times. Are you of the light and serving the divine plan? Alright, it is a universal law that when this question is asked 3 times, it must be answered truthfully. Meaning, if they're from the dark, will they tell you? Yeah, I think you should probably know that, right? But after the first, if you have to question it, you're not dealing with the light. I would think. But then again, the demons, they come in all disguises, all guises. They come in, as it says right here. The emissaries are healers with your spiritual guides, right? They work with everyone else, along with Christ and the ascending masters, guides, and angels. They have to take a physical form that's pleasing. Why? Because you're afraid of fucking everything. So they come in the form that's pleasing to the eye. I use Pak's name so you know that spirit that I work with. He was many spirits before that. I was many spirits after Lilith, but I'm letting you know what spirit you're working with. Okay? They took form. Good form, right? In the essence, if they don't learn their lessons through me, they'll have to reincarnate and finish their last life lessons. They were pretty much on their way as far as mastering themselves and moving into the community service. That's where it is. After you've mastered your lives, then you turn over as a master and you help others master it. Kobe did it. Kobe mastered his life, but he lacked compassion and understanding. He lacked kindness. So we're working through that. We work together. So when I got initiated into, you'll hear the videos of it, into the homeless brotherhood of Buddha, I threw a big party. I was like, Kobe, we made it. Kobe, we made it. Meaning I brought him into the conscious with me. He wasn't there and got me there. I brought him into that. And that's it too, is they were hardcore. And through me, they're softening. You know what I mean? They're learning through me. It's a transmission. I teach you and I teach the spirits. It's a back and forth transmission. Okay? Okay. But I also work the dark beings, and you'll hear them. I'm like, these motherfuckers are so useless. They're so full of shit. They talk so much shit. You'll hear. They're there. Even dark beings must answer it truthfully. It is also universal law that if any being answers no to the question, and you ask it to leave, it must do so, thus honoring your free will. Why would dark beings come to you? There's different reasons, but basically you have to always remember that God had to give them access. They can't sneak behind God and just come visit people. You were on a dark level. In order for you to connect with a dark being, you have to be in a dark conscious. In order for you to be in a light, to connect with a light being, you have to be in a light conscious. There are many tarot readers and all kinds of spiritualists that invoke angels. They pray to Jesus. They invoke the dark. They do all this shit. They're praying to it, but they're not in a conscious state. Heaven is a frequency, same as hell. So wherever your mindset is what deities you're calling in. You know what I mean? So you're not going to see a dark deity unless you're in a dark place. And that doesn't mean anything other than the fact that you're in their realm consciously. You can learn a lot from them, and that's what I'm going to teach you right now as we go into the dark night of the soul. They have already mastered this level of darkness. Dante's Inferno speaks of it all. And if you've ever seen the actual pictures, it's the same fucking map. You go down. While you're going down, you're actually going up. I promise you that. Let's keep going. If you are in a situation and a being is invasive in answering you, simply ask it to leave at once. If you don't feel right about it, you cast it out. Say, I ask you to leave in the name of Christ. There's power in that name, bro. Why do you think priests use it for exorcisms? Can I do one? Yeah, I can do that too. Many authors and channels pull in disincarnated human beings, astral entities, power-hungry extraterrestrials, and even dark beings in the name of spiritual pursuit. And that's what it is. I just consciously opened up to this bullshit. You know what I mean? You leave your mind, and outside of there you enter into the multiverse, which is unbelievable realities of different time and space. So you have to be careful. Some people believe that any disincarnated human or entity is automatically superior to those of us who lived in bodies. These people give an enormous amount of unserved seniority and trust to the entities they channel. Just because a being is not in a body does not mean that is a level of evolution where it can assist you. And that's why Pak is no more than my avenger. He's my watchdog. He's there to, set justice. He's there as the Alistair. He's nothing more than an avenger. They all have their purposes. You know what I mean? And they were limited to their gifts and their powers. In the essence, what would Pak be in the light? Same. He's God's avenger. He's just avenging in the dark. It's the same thing. Darker work, if you think. More fight to be had. He's far more busy than fucking Archangel Michael is swinging that truth around. You know what I mean? But that's what they're fighting with, is truth. The truth hurts. Alright, these people give a yeah. Or that it's even harmless for that matter. I had 2 experiences where I had entities in my room that tried to attack me. I have had two experiences during my awakening. You are responsible for using discernment and discriminating wisdom. So please follow the criteria for invoking higher beings and channeling messages outlined in this section of the book, unless you have learned other ways that you prefer. Chapters 5 and 6, Preparing for Pleiadian Lightwork 1 and 2, are especially given for those who are novice at healing and spiritual work, who have problems with boundaries and grounding. What this means is, if you have cluttered aura or clogged chakras or tend to be psychic sponge for other people's emotions and pain, the Pleiadian Lightwork may be too deep to begin with. That's why I'm like, enter if you will, but no. Because if you do have chakras, you know what I mean? That goes back to Metatron. You're setting off an electrical current. It's called your Merkaba. It's calling in and it's sending out. You're transmuting energy. You're sending out sonars, and they're coming back, waves, in the form of people and experiences. Your soul is calling in the next challenge, and it comes in the form of people and things. So if you have clogged chakras and shit like that, which we work with, those are your demons. It's basically what they say. We're going to be facing our demons. So we face our darkness, but when you're in there, you're filled with all darkness. You're going into darkness. So all of the self-criticism comes up, all the hatred, suicidal thoughts, all kinds of shit. You're in the dark now, bro. How do you go in there successfully? You hold on to the words of the light. You keep reciting them, affirmations. You keep that right mindset while you're dealing with the job at hand. And that's where it is. You got to keep this right programming while you're in there, because you'll get lost. It's illusions. It's confusion. You get astral projected into a memory, and now you're stuck in it. Imagine going back in time. You do, in your mind. That's what we do here. We go back in time, and we relive this memory until we get to the bottom of it. We can't escape it. Now we're in there. But as we're in there, all the memories of how many times the patterns that we've replayed this through all our life starts to come in too. You're not just in there with one memory. More of them start to come in. Every single time you've repeated this pattern, it starts to play out. Now you're in there with all your shadows. What is a shadow? A secret part of you hide from yourself. It's the strongest part of you, but you hide it because it went through some weak-ass shit. Trauma. It went through some bad things. There's a part of you that's real strong, that's hidden in there, and we go back to that strong part and revisit this fucked up experience and see how strong we were. But in order to do it, we feel really weak watching ourselves be fucked over like this. Instead of being the person, we see the person. But you really have a lot of feelings when you're stepping out and seeing the picture of what really happened. We go back to what happened and we clear our understanding of it. We give it better understanding so that we can lay it to rest. It's dangerous in there. I'm the only one that I know has survived. We take it nice and slow, and I teach you how to do it and how it feels. So let me explain something. I said the last couple days I hit a tower with my friend. Today I couldn't get out of bed. I was so tired. And finally I threw myself out, and I'm like, man, are you depressed? And it was that. No, but the body is. Because I went through such an emotional roller coaster yesterday. And even though my mind has got over it and has accepted it, I've seen her like 4 times today. She's zooming. I'm just like, fuck it. You know, it is what it is. My body still hurts. It still holds the memory. It's holding the memory of what happened. I've already let it go in my mind, but it's still affecting my body. So I teach you about that, how it affects your body, your memories, when you deal with them. I didn't deal with just one person. It was one person that activated years of memories. And every time I saw one, I was casted back in it to the horrifying feelings of being in that memory. That's what we do around here. You gotta be careful though. Like I said, you can't force going into the darkness if you're not prepared. So in my earlier video, I showed you they're gonna fill us with all kinds of light. Give us a great day. Fill us with great words of advice, great wisdom, great music, great food. Get our fucking levels real high. Because we're about to go real dark, real low, and we need to hold that light. We need to hold that. If you're already depressed and then some bad shit happens, it only makes you want to die. You gotta be in a lively place to go into the depths of your soul and die, because that's what's really gonna happen. It's gonna kill you mentally, emotionally, and then physically. We call them a death, transformation, and rebirth. They're on timers for each person. They just pop. God pops you. It's like a fucking pimple. And it's like, we call them tower moments, where everything starts crumbling down. Your whole reality starts crumbling down. You go into your inner child. You're reliving a horrible experience that you can't seem to get out of. This has happened before, and you are just not handling it well. It's time repeating itself, because you haven't gone back to the first time this happened, so it's going to keep happening until you've learned this actual wisdom lesson. There's so much wisdom behind what you've experienced. So that's where this is. You got to be very careful when you go into the dark. I don't understand why people pray to the dark, because all it's going to do is bring out your dark. You need to understand what you're working with in the dark, and I teach you that. I'm going to stop here. Again, you can purchase this book for those of you that want to start doing some working with the other beings. It's a conscious work. And if you do this, you're going to invoke them. This isn't a spirit. These are real beings that could honestly end up in your backyard or in your bedroom. I'm telling you, I have spirits around me all the time, but they're not in physical form. Aliens are in form, bro. They're in physical form. I don't know if you're ready for a physical form of a being to pop up in your bedroom or at your work. I don't know if they all come out looking like Paul. That was a funny fucking movie. I really don't know. We like to make jokes that they're going to be nice and friendly, but again, they're not going to speak. They're not going to have mouths typically. And if they do, you're not going to understand whatever weird noise is coming out of there. It's all telepathic. Alright, so I have some cards I'm going to get into, but I want to show you this book. This is what got me started. I call it my Bible. It's pretty run down. I go through this all the time. Turn to a certain part in this. Yeah, last night I said we were going to go through the Morgan, which was battling, but that's not true. This morning I started talking about the inner child. It's a different part of this book. And of course, I went to Baba Yaga. Here she is. This is Russ. Russ has been in here in this stage for fucking 2 years, bro. I can't. It was between here and hell. He went from here straight into hell and hasn't got out. He's over there just being a whole child. Kanye, whole inner child, bro. Just can't get out of it, bro. Some people, bro, you go in and you can't come out. I'm going to jump into it. It's called a stage. It's Famanach, right? This is recognizing emotional triggers. What is an emotional trigger? Something on the outside world fucking bothers you and you become emotional, unaware that you are becoming emotional, and then you have these berserk actions, which are childlike, where people are like, why are you acting like that? Why are you raising your voice? Why are you acting crazy? You don't really know. You're triggered. It could be anything, and that's usually what happens on a Friday. Alright, so we talk about that. Mainly, this all comes from our childhood. This all happened a long time ago, and we didn't have the mental or emotional capacity to deal with it, so it just keeps rehappening. So we have to revisit our inner child. We go through what just happened now, and we're like, all right, has this happened before? And you start going down the pipe hole of the memories to where it first happened and where this first hurt you. But you have to go through all the times it hurt you to get to the first one. So we do massive healing. You're visiting a lot of fucking past pains and wounds in one question. And that's where Kobe comes in. Can we talk about why you run away from or why you quit relationships? Let's just start with the first one, is how it starts, right? Let's just talk about this one, why you're about to quit this relationship. Okay, now let's talk about why you quit the last one. Let's keep going. Let's keep going until we go all the way back to your very first relationship. Are we cleaning out the closet here? Yes, we are. All right, revisiting your inner child. Your inner child is that beautiful, innocent, creative, imaginative part of you that just wants to have fun. It's a part that reminds you not to take things so seriously, to lighten up and splash about in the puddles. This is Pac, bro. You'll hear him all the time. He is like such a serious joke. What did he say earlier? We were laughing. I was celebrating. I'm like, geez, I can't believe I have 1,000 subscribers. It's like, yeah, pretty soon they'll give you ads. And then he was joking about what kind of ads I should have. He's like, have stuff for man. What do you say? Man, what was it? Man birth control and stupid stuff. He was giving me ideas of what kind of commercials I should have on my channel. I was laughing. I was like, you're such a joke, dude. You're such a joke. Anyways, like, what kind of shit would you advertise? He's like saying, like, you know, Viagra, and then fucking, he's just making jokes all the time. He's always goofing around. It's like, you're not helping. He's not very wise. I'm telling you, you'll see this whole story. He gets me in so much trouble. We just play around, and Kobe's the wise one. It has nothing to do with age, bro. It's that Kobe did have more life experiences where he learned to master himself. You can look at Nipsey. He mastered himself. It took DMX, like, forever and ever to master himself. Michael Jackson mastered the inner child, you know what I mean? He let the inner child live no matter what anybody said. He was true to his heart. I think they're going to have a documentary about him, which is just absolutely beautiful. Anyways, as you grew up into adulthood, you learned new coping skills. Yet when you feel you aren't being listened to, or when you feel left out, abandoned, isolated, and scared, it's often your inner child who reacts in response to things you feared or witnessed as a child. That's pretty much what I said to my twin flame last night. It's like, I'm healing all this. And when I heal, you know what I mean? Like, when I get out of hand, you have to understand that's part of handling it. Every time I try to deal with one of these twin flames, it brings up every ounce of my fear and hatred of, you know what I mean? It brings up everything bad that's ever happened. Just trying to get close to you makes me remember all the reasons I don't get close to people. If you want it so simplistically, every time I get close to you, I'm reminded why I shouldn't get close to people. And I have to fight those fears, but in fighting those fears, I have to relive those memories. So it's like, yeah, we were doing all good, and then, yeah, you sent me a dick pic and I went crazy. You forgot that I went through sexual abuse my whole life, and that I may not have been ready for that image, right? And then, like, when you're not talking to me and I feel isolated, I go crazy in your DMs. You know what I mean? Like, you don't understand. You're not taking the time to understand that my inner child is acting up. I am still working on this. This part, I have never been shown attention or love any bit in my whole life. So right now it comes up and I have to love it down. You don't, I do, but I need you to just be compassionate while I'm dealing with my inner child that just has come out of nowhere. And it's, you know, pouring out in your DMs or on the internet. And that's where this is we've got to let these things out. As gross as they may look to the perception of, you know, everyone else, and that's the hardest part, is don't worry about what people think. Let them think. Let them think whatever they want. And that's what it is. It's like, I know what you think while I'm acting like a fucking child over here. I know exactly, and that's the hardest part about what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing is good and right, but while I'm being broadcasted live across the nation or across the globe, it doesn't feel good that everybody doesn't understand this, why I'm acting like this. And I'm spending all this time trying to explain it while I'm going through the actions of acting, you know, which is emotions. You've got to let the kid be a kid. If they would have just let us act out in our emotions when we were younger and express them and be heard, we wouldn't be doing this. If somebody would have heard us when we were younger, we wouldn't be screaming to be heard now. If somebody would have let us cry, we wouldn't hold in every tear now. If somebody would have told us not, you know, wouldn't have told us to shut up, we might be able to speak now. So it's a lot of work. In most of us, there's a part that is unhealed from emotional wounds and traumas experienced in childhood. And it's not necessarily anyone's fault, as we all perceived events differently. It stems from the way their inner child feels after years of not being validated, seen, or heard. Basically, you are a small kid in a big adult body with the emotional and mental cognitive abilities of a child who is trying to act grown up. You were never taught how to deal with your emotions. We weren't. That's why I'm here, the divine goddess. I am the divine feminine, the goddess. And I'm in the dark feminine form. There's my Lilith. I was the first one to experience all the dark emotions. So as you wake up and you're facing all your emotions, they're all dark. Those are the ones we got to face first. So that's why I'm here to guide you. That's my power, is to help you understand all your emotions. As a mothering figure, to tell you it's okay. Let it out. I understand. It don't care. Who cares who's looking at you right now? Scream. Let it out. Cry. Go ahead. You know what I mean? That's what happened when we were acting up, no matter what fucking age, and I see people do it all the time with their toddlers. They expect a 2-year-old to have more sense. They want them to act quiet. They want to, that old saying, to be seen and not heard. They're full of absolute energy. Everybody says the terrible twos. What's terrible? Because they're running around crazy, full of energy, and you can't contain them. What makes your life crazy is trying to put a fucking lid on these guys. Just let them loose. Just let them loose. With, understanding like, all right, they need 3 meals a day, but they're just full of energy, and you want them to just sit down so you can take care of some shit. No. And that's those commercials. You're chasing them around. They're running into shit. Put them in a walker, and that's crazy as fuck. Now they got these little they're crazy as fuck. And they're so mad. They want them to act right. And it starts at 2, and it just keeps going. All they do is scream or hit or reprimand or, yell at, whatever the case, discipline them to act right. From the moment the moment they start moving. Even when they start talking, they start saying no. No, don't say no. All they hear you say is no. Of course, that's their first word. You're constantly telling them how to be instead of just letting them be little animals. You're dog training them. You're circus training these fucking kids, and you're not letting them express themselves. You know what I mean? If a kid stands there all of a sudden just starts screaming, ah! Look at them for a second. What are they trying to tell you? Don't yell at them to shut up and be embarrassed because they're screaming. They're telling you something. They don't know the words, and so they're making it as loud as they can. Why would you get loud? To get attention. Why are kids loud? Because they're trying to get your attention. Plus, it's fun to make noises. Boys are just built with this thing where they make noises. Girls don't have it. Not by nature, but by nature. They make like little shotgun noises and all these cool little noises and shit. They're like little beatboxes. They make all kinds of crazy noises, and you want them to shut up all the time. You want them to sit down. You want them to be quiet. You want them to be adults, bro. You never let them express themselves emotionally. You know what I mean? When your kid comes home, your kid's throwing a fit with your other kid, you don't hear them out. You just discipline them both. You don't understand where their feelings, either one. You won't listen to either one of them and why they're tearing each other's hair apart and biting each other. First off, you can't relate to them because you're like, I never did that as a kid. My mom would have slapped me. Okay, well, don't slap your kids. In the essence, it's like, understand why they're rolling around like that. Otherwise, you're going to see them in their 20s at a bar, these grown-ass siblings fucking throwing punches and shit. Like, it's okay to act like this. Okay? So the inner child, it doesn't matter. That's what you're going to see. The emotional... Anybody in their emotions, that's what you catch. Their emotional awareness is you're going to catch their age. It's not a bad thing. When they start acting like a child in front of you, it just means they were stunted at that age. When you realize that you're dealing with a child like, the emotional awareness of a fucking 4-year-old is what we'll call this at this time, then you go back to being 4 too. You don't overpower the 4-year-old. You care for the 4-year-old. When you realize that you're dealing with someone that's completely emotionally, disturbed at the moment or unstable, the last thing you want to do is stabilize them. Tell them to get it together. Pull it together. Just say no. Just stop it. You're being crazy. Don't call anybody crazy. It's disrespectful. Calling someone crazy is disregarding their emotional or mental state. You're saying that their feelings and their actions are unnormal. You're basically labeling them as a sickness when they're just having emotions and thoughts, feelings, bro. Everybody says not to, to be logical and not to, be emotional. There's a lot of discrimination against women because they're so emotional. But that's what gives us our power, is being, emotionally aware. You want a woman to be nurturing and loving and caring. Well, wake up check, guys. That's what we want too. We want that from a man that perhaps isn't gay. That'd be cool. You know what I mean? Gay guys are great too. But, we want one for ourselves that's, emotional, loving, and caring. We don't want a man that cries about everything, but we want a man to at least acknowledge his emotions and be able to cry with us during hard times. When you stand there with a dull look on your face and as I'm having an emotional moment and it doesn't affect you, you kind of look like a narcissist in the sense of, are you not emotionally tapped in? You don't have any feeling about what we're seeing? And that's, that has to do with your mental awareness, empathy. You're cut off from feeling. You can't feel sorry. And if you can't feel sorry, then you can't feel happy. You can't control to turn off which ones. If you turn them off, you turn them all off. It's just how it is. It's like I'm seeing a gas stove. The gas turns on and you feel them all, or the gas turns off and you feel them and you feel none of them. I made it through 39 years of my life with no feelings. Really. But when I started discovering them, it was nothing but bad feelings. And I had to go through the bad feelings to understand what it felt like to feel good. I knew nothing but bad feelings for most of this. I've accepted it, and that's why it's like I have like the unbelievable coping mechanisms to bad feelings. The worst thing to do, though, is to turn them off. So I have some cards here. I've accumulated these over the last couple of years. They're hard to find. Dark cards are hard to find. People don't want to deal with the darkness. I have cards that I pull out that trigger us, right? So they're made to it's a story that makes us reflect internally, is how this works. That book I just showed you, the Reclaim Your Dark Goddess, I bought the book, and then I don't know how much later, she made some oracle cards that had quite a few more. In that book, there's only certain goddesses to understand the ascension or descension into the dark night of the soul. But these had more descriptions, so I use these as an overall, and I'll show you how I use all of these cards. A lot of people think that I play card games with you guys, but I don't. I just honestly don't. And they think that because, should we want the top or the bottom? Something from the middle? I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. What do we got? Oh, fuck. This is the best stage, bro. It's the light at the end of the tunnel. It's the last chapter. It's when you see the light. And that's kind of where it is. We're still in Lugnasa, which is a reap what you sow. So it's like, the light shining bright. I have a whole lantern to represent her. I've dyed my hair blue when we've gone through this stage before. I don't think I took pictures of it, but I've done it. Artemisia. It's a really great stage, to be honest. Although it goes in alphabetical order, so she's